friends, it's Lance Klessig. I'm here today with Luke Bergler. It's an awesome day here in southeast Minnesota. It's 13th of May, 2020. Going to be about 70. We're calling for a pretty good shot of rain tonight and tomorrow, which we really could use. We're here to talk a little bit about 60-inch corn and the why behind it. But before we do that, Luke, tell us a little bit about where you're farming, some of the crops you grow, some of the livestock, that type of thing.
Thank you, Lance. Winona County, far southeast Minnesota. About 50 pairs on the ground, so we're a cow-calf operation. That's diversifying quickly. We brought some feeder pigs and got my daughters set up with laying hen operations, so we're just trying to provide better food for everyone and get a diversity of livestock on our ground. Small acre corn and beans, hay for the cattle, do a lot of sorghum, and diverse cover crop mixes.
Sure. Tell us a little bit about, you've been diving into regenerative agriculture and some of the, neat practices that are associated. So tell us a little bit about some of the things you maybe been doing or you want to get to or go try.
Last few years, we're pushing 75%, maybe even higher covers on everything. We're grazing more acres. We got our feet wet last year with stockpiling covers to graze over winter, and even grazing our perennial hay strips as opposed to making them. Just try to cut back fuel and man hours, and makes life a little more enjoyable.
Tell us a little bit. I know you're going to try some high stock density with some grazing things. You've been traditionally more of a rotational grazer, but we went down to Ray Archuleta's with the Soil Health Academy. You're going to try some of that, push the envelope a little bit there.
Yeah, we've been rotational grazing probably 10 to 12 years here now. That's not the cure-all, so look at things different. Soil Health Academy was a big eye-opener, and look at more intense manage and high stocking rates, and just change things up a little bit. Try to leave a little more grass behind, and see if we just can't help our soil out doing it that way.
Sure, very good. So again, we're here to talk a little bit about 60-inch corn. First of all, let's talk about your objectives or your why in wanting to try 60-inch corn.
Last year, farming 30s with interseeded, about a 15-way mix, really brought the light to the amount of forage available for them cows. Extended our grazing season out on the stalks. Not to mention the quality of forage, the money saved in mineral and stuff like that. As added bonuses, the additional ground cover and the diversity in the ground. And so when you think about 60s and you want to run with interseeding, I'm going to guess we're going to at least double the biomass, not only to help the soil, but to put that many more acres of feed up for the cows, and more feed to graze is less work for me.
Sure. And I know last year Luke was really happy you got, what was it, like 3 or 4 weeks of basically extended grazing where you didn't have to feed hay, wasn't it, like 25-30 days, something like that?
Yeah, we were in that, we probably extended roughly a month, and I can't stress enough the quality of grazing in an interseeding program over just straight corn stalks.
Sure. Some of the other things we talked about, you're looking to capture more sunlight by having a wider canopy or opening up the canopy. Again, more diversity, more biomass, but also tell us a little bit about your desire to kind of pump more carbon into the ground.
Well, if we can open our rows up and increase plant diversity out here and get everything kind of working in harmony together, and when we get out to 60s, I'm sure there's a few of you understand the sunlight effect with the corn. I'm staring at 60s, looking at what I can do for the ground, and put the diversity out here to help the soil.
Sure. Sure. So let's get down to some more of the details about, let's start off with this field. What's some of the history here? There's a pretty nice crop of rye coming, but tell us what it was 2 years ago and then last year, that type of thing.
So we were minimum till corn. We came in last spring and frost seeded this oat rye at about 60 pounds. Went really well. We no-till green soybeans in. We killed our cover at about 30 inches, 36 inches. Beans ran very well on it. We came in about the first week in November, 70 pounds of winter rye, and now we're no-tilling corn back into that green.
Perfect, perfect. So tell us a little bit about the planter you got here, what model, some of the different components you got on the rig.
Well, planter's nothing special, which tells me this can be done with anything if you put your mind to it. John Deere 1750 conservation, starting from the front to the back. I do not run a no-till opener. It's single disc fertilizer, fixed row cleaners, which are set extremely light. I just want it clean. I don't want to trench. Seed openers, serrated prescription tillage technology. Very good money spent in my opinion. Keaton seed firmer in the trench, and Schlagle posi closers in the rear, both sides. And it does a nice job of leaving a nice mulch on top of the seed trench and really setting that seed in nice.
Perfect, perfect. And part of the reason I think Luke is running very light on his row cleaners and then also this style of closers is that you want to leave that armor there. You don't want to have, a 6-inch or even 8-inch wide seed trench that's black. You don't feel you need that because we're out here again, it's the 13th of May and we've got decent soil temperatures and we've got pretty awesome, we were just digging out here in the row marker track and there's worms everywhere. There's still moisture at what, 3/4 inch?
Yep, 1/2 to 3/4. I'm holding pretty good moisture yet compared to ground that maybe was turned over. Yep. And the cover crop really went full swing the last few years when the heavy rains just wouldn't leave us alone. And so if I'm out here trenching with my row cleaners, all that does is give that rain a channel to follow, and you're not doing it any justice.
You bet. So tell us a little bit about the population. You normally plant at what population?
So on a normal year, planting 6-row 30s, we'd be at 35,000. So 60-inch manual transmit or mechanical transmission on this planter. I'm able to manipulate everything to do about 61,000 in row, roughly. But you have half your rows, so we're in that 31,000 in theory.
Across the whole planter width?
Across the acre, right. Correct, yes. That can be very confusing for some, and I won't tell you I'm spot on with it. Sure. But here's my true feelings. If we can't try something new where the corn markets are today, you will never try anything new, because what do you honestly have to lose? Agreed.
So tell us a little bit to break down kind of your spacing on your corn, on the kernels. Normally you're at what, 5.5 inch at 34,000, and now you're going to be what?
Yeah, we'd be in that 5.5, and so we're going to look at 2.5, 3, depending where we're at. I push towards smaller seed because I know my planter can plant heavier, and that's kind of what I was looking for. Chose a semi-flex 97-day hybrid that I have some experience with no-tilling, and that took one factor out of the equation when I can put the seed in a box that I already know what he's going to do. The only thing I don't know what he's going to do is when he's that crowded in the row.
Sure. But that's partly why you're trying this, to kind of see how one of your top producing hybrids is going to produce in this equation on 60-inch rows.
Correct. And I think it's going to do just fine, because he was one of my better producing stands last year on some of my poorer ground. And so I think we can crowd them in here, and this particular piece of the ground isn't my worst ground, so we're going to give it a whirl.
Yeah, you bet. So tell us, kind of as we wrap up, how you're going to define success as we, obviously we're probably going to get out here and do some stand counts eventually, but how are you going to define success, when the combine comes through, and even after that? How do you define success in this 60-inch trial?
Well, as far as the combine coming through, I have a number in my mind where I'd like to be with bushels, but that I won't even talk about that because I'm not chasing bushels. I'm looking at ground cover, I'm looking at feed for cows. The other thing I'm looking at, we come in here with the interseeder, let's just say at V3, V4, so we're looking at maybe 30 days. And we can put down a 15, 20-way mix. There's a lot of power in that diversity, not to mention wildlife cover, birds. I love the conservation aspect of it. We keep this rolling ground covered. Behind the camera, you can't see our beehives. I'm sure they're going to appreciate some extra flowering plants.
Absolutely.
50 feet away. Just simple things like that.
Yeah, you bet. You bet. So I just want to say thanks, friends, for joining us. We're out here trying to show what people are trying, and Luke and a good friend of ours, Mike Steinfeld, these guys kind of work together in a lot of things. It's a lot of fun to try different things out. So I'd encourage you, if you like our videos, to give us a like or share it with a friend, and we'll definitely be doing more videos throughout the summer. So lastly, just thanks for joining us, and choose to make it a great day, everyone.